And I am live. Welcome to Vlog Thursday 259. Channel changes. We're going to cover that right off the bat, but I always like to say hi to everybody that's coming here. And there's 69 of you. Clever. 66. Aw, someone left. 68. Come on, get past above that. Anyways, hello from Fayetteville, Arkansas. What is a good open source paid free editing software? So there's a couple of them right now. I am using Kdenlive for all of my video editing needs, but me and my friend Jay from Learn Linux TV have been looking at alternatives because there are occasionally some hiccups with Kdenlive, and the solution I'm really looking at is probably going to be DaVinci Resolve, which does have a free version, by the way. Kdenlive's not bad. It's just become kind of slow when I want to do certain things. And it's also a limiting factor because my channel has very little editing because it doesn't really need much editing. But when I do want to do more, I'm also limited and I can't really get more done easily with Kdenlive. So KDEN Live, it's easy to find. It's free. It works on Windows and Linux. So does DaVinci Resolve. So that's probably what I'm going to end up going to in the future. That future is not right now because I'm busy doing other things. But when I move to my new studio, I will probably do that. So, I just seen that. Cody from Mac Telecom Networks also is a DaVinci Resolve user. I didn't know. I was going to ask what Cody used. So yeah, absolutely. DaVinci is really nice. It's DaVinci is one of those ones that you can grow with because it's so extensive. It has a lot of features. Even if you don't use all the features in the beginning, or maybe never will, depending on where you're going with what you're doing. But the nice thing is having it there. It's actually got a really nice color grading system in it as well, if you want to get into some of that more advanced features like that. Yeah, there's a OpenShot I thought was pretty cool. My first couple of videos, like in 2016, were done with OpenShot before I found Kdenlive. I don't know where they're at in development. I haven't really looked back. I remember trying them maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it still wasn't up to the feature set of Kdenlive. Kdenlive's got a really solid feature set. Ah, yes. We have a series of projects. I'm going to try to get out there and film them. That's actually a real challenge. It's challenging to get out there. I have another video that I'm going to do about labeling cables where we retrofitted a building. I posted a few pictures on. Did I post a few pictures on Twitter? I can't remember. I feel like I did. So there's a few photos of those. I could probably share them here. So let me figure out how to do that. Go to photos. Before I share things I can't share. Let me just make sure I have everything in here. Okay, I can share these things. So let me share that and give people an idea what I'm talking about here. Where did these go? There we go. And it's always one of those things, like pulling this up and making sure. I have so many things. Share screen, Chrome tab, Google Photos. Oh boy, I have more than one Google Photos open. Which one do we? Let's make sure we have the right one. So let me cancel. Share. I have so many things that could go wrong if I share them wrong. There's like people's phone numbers and things like that. Yes, this is the right one. I don't want to share anything like private. But this is some of the videos are going to be done on, dressing the cable, putting it all together. I've got the video shot on some of this. This is just some B-roll I shot on my phone. This is about the cable labeling. These are some of the other cabling projects we got going on. So yes, this is a retrofit one where we're going to talk about the cable labeling because there's a couple different approaches on there. These are a couple smaller projects we did, but then the bigger ones are going to be, and let me remove that and pull up the tweet. I did do that. the whole thing. Copy pasta. There we go. For those of you that follow me on Twitter, this is another project that started today. This one, there is 40,000 feet of cable going on there. So yes, a few more feet. And this is a series of a few buildings we're doing. So this is the one that started today. I had to pull the calendar up, but within the next 2 months, I think there's two more buildings about the same size that are getting done. So that's that's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Let's see. Welcome to the first time joining a live session. Scotland. Oh, yes. So fun fact I shouldn't reveal on a live stream with 114 people because it's going to happen. But it turns out if you want to be a salesperson to get through to us and you happen to have an accent very different than ours, that could be Australian, that could be UK or Scotland, or someone who called us from, I think it was Ireland today. We might take a sales call because you sound cool. I don't know if that's not much of a qualifier, but sometimes we're like, oh, your accent's great. I'll talk to you. So we have a few clients overseas, and there's like, we have a particular one that they're also humorous. So we're like, hey, who wants to call that person? Oh, we all want to call this person, actually. Put us all on the phone because it's going to be fun. And so hi from Scotland. I always like when I hear someone with a different accent or something, when I know they're from a different area than me. It's the same thing when I know someone speaks more than one language. It's frequently because they've lived somewhere I haven't, and it's always way more intriguing to me. Like, they probably know something, like they have been somewhere I haven't, and that becomes very interesting and a great discussion topic. It's always a weird fascination I have whenever I meet people like that. So any plans on a Ceph cluster Visio? Not likely. I don't build them out. We don't have any clients using them, so it's not on my to-do list. Most all of my videos, the majority of them, are very much from real world experience deploying something. So when I deploy things, I make videos about them, and when there's ones that aren't, but the majority of them are. That's why I am generally a lot better at them, is because of that. Because they're not just me talking about it because I learned it and I want to regurgitate the information to you. It's going, I learned it, I deployed it, then I had to learn a few things more about what went wrong, and then we deployed it, and then we tuned it, and then we did this. Now here we are, is a better tutorial in my opinion. So let's see. Lots of them. I don't want to miss too many. Afternoon. Oh, hey, Travis. Travis is local. One of our clients. So hello. Happy Thursday. After months of tinkering, I pulled the trigger on Synology. Awesome. I like the Synologies. Hello from Germany. All over the place. Another person from Scotland. Awesome. What is your favorite RGB product for racks? I don't know if you can see behind me. I don't know if I'll do a video on these. They're called. Hold on, let me look what they're called. I'll have to find them on Amazon. Hold on, let me pull up my Amazon account and I'll find them. I actually have some RGB rack tools, so that's the thing. What are these things in my orders? Hold on. RGB rack. What RGB? We bought these a while ago. I'll find them. They're silly. I can't find them now. If I find them, they have a weird name on them. RGB rack lights. Where are these things? No, I can't find them. I will find them some point. They're silly. They're expensive. I don't think they're not something I would do as a product recommendation. So, Penn, Pennlcom. Let me see if I can find them under that name, just so people can see what they are. Someone's going to say, Tom, you're an idiot for buying them. And I'll agree with you. They're not. So they called Pennlcom. Oh, great. They make lots of things. Pennlcom apparently is a popular brand. When do we order these? Someone's got me in a rabbit hole. There we go. Here's let me share my screen. Yes, I did buy these. Currently unavailable, so I guess it doesn't matter that I shared them. Currently out of stock. Supply chain. But yeah, I don't know what we paid for them. One Pennlcom 1U LED rack light. There's somewhere. They're like a DJ product. They're just silly looking, but I like them. If you wonder what's glowing behind me, it's those, but it doesn't appear to be any in stock. They're not sold here anymore. But yep. All right, that's enough silliness. Now let's actually answer some real questions. Channel changes. We'll get to that. Let me catch up on the questions and I'll jump into channel changes. I'll be talking about that very shortly. RGB makes the bits go faster. Let's see. What do you think of the Reolink security system? I use Amcrest cameras. I use Synology for Synology Surveillance Station is one of the popular installs we do for security cameras. I really like them. They work well. I've not tried. There's so many random ones out there, and the NVRs are almost always, once you go outside of the licensed brand name ones, and I say brand name loosely, there's a lot of different brands out there. I don't know exactly what constitute a brand name, but there's companies like Axiom. I want to say Axiom. I know that's not it. It's anyways, some of the big expensive ones out there, and those are going to be well updated and well maintained. The Synology one is updated and maintained, but all these other random ones are not very well maintained. So if you want any type of access to them outside of your network, that makes them kind of scary. So anyways, Axis, there we go. Axis is the word I was looking for. Axis makes some nice ones. Anyways, the channel changes that are upcoming is going to be, I am splitting off. I've talked about doing it for so long, but you spoke. I don't know about all of you, but at least a lot of people did. Whenever I would post a business video, one of the things YouTube gives me is some analytics data. And I can actually show you what that analytics data looks like. And it's really simple, the change I'm going to make. We're just moving all the business content to a new channel, because it seems to be that people come here not for business content, which is fine. I don't have any problem with that. And if I look at a video, and let me find one of them here. This is a great example. Let me find it here. Here we go. Here's the audience, and we'll share the audience stats with you. We lost 4 subscribers on this last video me and Brett did. Now, that's not substantial. It's not like it's a ton of subscriber, but it's still 4 less people than I had before. And what I'm noticing across my business videos, people came here not for business videos. And I get it. That's fine. I wish YouTube allowed people to subscribe to playlists because of the challenges they create of creating a new channel. It's just almost everything I license, like TubeBuddy and things like that, is licensed on a per channel basis. If YouTube offered the ability to subscribe to a playlist, it would be amazing, because then they can have a channel, but then you can only get notified when certain playlists. Like if that was an option, I think people would love it. That way, if you only cared about a singular topic that I cover on my channel, and as long as I populate that playlist every time I come up with it, wow, wouldn't that be amazing, YouTube, who doesn't listen to Tom Lawrence at all? That would be great, but they're not. Matter of fact, it's one of the challenges I've had. Niche channels grow faster. The reason people subscribe to a niche channel is because they know what to expect from that niche. They subscribe to that channel because it covers a very narrow topic that they're interested in. And when you're broader like me, it creates a bigger challenge growing the channel. To the same effect, one of the reasons, and it's interesting to me when I talk to my friends who have more subscribers than me, I have more views than them because people don't want to subscribe because I'm all over the place and they don't want to be notified for things that are not interested in. And I understand that. But the other bonus, though, is the fact that most of my stuff is tutorials, so I'm scratching an itch. What's that itch? I wanted to know how to do a thing. I searched for it. I found Tom's video on how to do the thing, so they watched the video. So I actually have a higher view ratio than some of my other friends who have more subscribers than me. But either way, I have been defeated by an algorithm that I have no control over. So we're splitting the business videos. Yeah. How does that compare to a normal video? That's a good question. So let me pull up a normal video. Switch it here, back to here. And 27 subscribers, but this video may not be the best representation. So let me switch to another one here. Because that one I just published. Let me go one that's a couple days old. It's actually, I'll do one that's as old as the other one. Here's one that's as old as the other one, but it's also partly driven by what topic it is. 238 more subscribers. So 27 on one and 238 more on here. There is no question most of my subscribers come from my tech videos, and I consistently across all my business videos either no loss or a loss of like 3 or 4 people. So yeah, that's that's life. So yeah, nonetheless, splitting the video to the business side makes sense. This can only open up for more subscribers on both sides. Yeah, that way the people who care about both have to subscribe to both channels. But if you only care about one, then that's fine. Whichever one you care about, you'll subscribe to. I mean, technically, if I wanted to get really focused and try to game the system, which I'm not, I could create like a PF Sense channel. I could create a true NAS channel, or one maybe just on storage in general. So if I created like a NAS channel and a network engineering channel, but just trying to figure out how to divide those up. But the extra effort it would take on my part is a lot, and that's kind of a problem. So that's I don't know if I want to put that much into it. I'd have to hire someone just to keep up with it. I also really, really try to keep up with the comments and reply to people, provided the comments make any sense. It's always funny because people start out with, this video is 3 years old, blah, blah, blah. But the way I see YouTube comments is not that way. So when you go to the comments on YouTube, all the comments are like this. I see them, doesn't matter when the video was. This video is several years old. Like, I don't know. I remember like this is 3 years ago. I see comments like this. So I reply to a lot of people as long as the comment makes sense. Like even this one. Yeah. And sometimes just a thanks. This one just says original fix. Yeah, there's a thanks for fixing it and things like that. So not really anything to reply to, but I see the comments like this. If I have to switch between all the different channels to reply to all the different comments, becomes a lot of work. And then I may not reply to all of them. And that's a whole different problem. All right. Have you seen or used the deep learning NVR NAS and tuning it? I have not. I have not used those. It's on my to-do list to check them out because I got some new stuff coming out related to it. So on my to-do list. What AV do you recommend for home labbers? If you're using Windows, I highly recommend you use the Windows Defender. So Windows Defender is definitely always in the top list of detection. It detects really well with not too many false positives. So if you're running Windows, run Windows Defender if you're in a home. Honestly, it works good. I've seen so many hacker demos screwed up, like internal proof of concept demos screwed up that were able to bypass other systems, other endpoint detection paid systems, because they wanted to start with a stock machine and prove they could do whatever their proof of concept in their hack was. And this happened to Xavier twice. He could get around the expensive EDR, he couldn't get around Windows Defender. As far as Linux, you don't need an antivirus on Linux. If you want to scan documents or things on Linux, I mean, you can load Clam AV, but you don't need a AV on Linux systems. Not for home users. Now, as far as when you get deeper into doing, there's features you're not going to get out of Windows Defender. It's great for basic AV for home users, but when you want to do something a lot more in depth, we do use Sentinel-1 for that. So while there are some advantages, I'm working on an upcoming video on why we use Sentinel-1 and how we do threat hunting with it, because those are tools you don't really get with the Microsoft one. So if you wanted to do full analysis and things like that, Sentinel-1 is great, but you can't get Sentinel-1. You have to have a pretty high minimum commitment to get to buy Sentinel-1. You can't just buy it for 4 users or whatever. That doesn't really work like that. Did find your channel through Crosstalk Solutions. Love the mix and passion you have talking from experience. Honest and awesome. Will absolutely subscribe to Business Channel too. Awesome. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. I watched tech and was getting the YouTube to stop recommending. I was trying to get YouTube to stop recommending, then saw a business video, and after seeing the connection, started watching more. It's going to vary with what people want. And that to me is enough of a split for now. I don't know what the future holds, but for now, I'm just going to say all these business content. Matter of fact, I've actually held off because I didn't want too many of them. I have an interview I haven't published with my friend Bob, and I'm going to do a couple of videos with Bob. He's really good, talented sales guy. I've learned so much from Bob. So I want to do a series of videos with them, but they just don't fit the channel very well because it's very salesy, but it's also good sales tips. That's why I want to bring them on there. And I don't want to start diluting the tech content. So when I start the new channel, among the people I'm going to have more, I have a few other people besides him too, that I want to do some of these tech sales videos. And I just don't think they fit in with the PF Sense tutorial videos in between them. So I think there's a good reason to split it. And I think it has a good future. So I don't know. I have not talked to Xavier for several months. Like I was at his wedding and then I didn't see him again for quite a while. And then for coincidence, I talked to him today, but I didn't bring that up on content creation. I don't know. We twittered back and forth and he said he wanted to do some content creation. Hi, Xavier, if you're watching. So we'll narrow it down and figure it out. He moved to California, by the way, so it'd definitely be done remotely. I don't know if he's moving back. The conversation we had was on a more technical topic. So nonetheless, maybe for now it's on hold. I don't know if it'll be on hold forever or until some other time. Got a gig for a big house with Ubiquity. Have you gotten any insight into the current WAP supply issues? No, you can't get stuff. If you can find it, buy it. That's my answer. If you can find it, get it. Things are definitely in short supply. We had a customer we met with today to help them build out some stuff, and their growth limitation is right now. They're over the next few months. They need 2,000 48 port switches, and they can't find a supplier that has them. We're consulting on some of the network engineering side of it, but they need 2,000 switches and can't get. Like, this is a problem for any of these larger companies going, we need a lot of stuff and we can't get our stuff. You kind of got to go to the secondary markets on some things. So yeah, the new channel's not set up yet. I should have it set up by next week. It was on my to-do list today, and then I got on the topic of deleting things, like deleting channels I don't use anymore. So that happened, and then I broke some stuff, so that happened, and now I fixed the things I broke when I accidentally deleted the wrong things. I didn't delete my main channel, so I got it all sorted out. So that's yes. No one has insight into Ubiquity. Yeah. Short on supply, short on staff. That is a challenge. The good news is we just brought on another staff member, so we're not short on staff at this moment. We're not hiring at the moment. We did some acquiring, is how we acquired a few things from another company, like all their customers and some of their staff. So we have a new person that started. Really, I don't know. I don't know when I can really announce. It's not exactly an announcement. But we just acquired a bunch of clients from another company, another IT company. It's kind of a transition, and we took some of their staff, well, one of their staff, I should say. But it's still a transition in progress. I don't know how much I can, I don't know how much I can say about all that, but cool, it's happening. I mean, I don't know how to make an announcement on something like that either, or if it's even relevant. We got more customers, so that's a bunch of them. Yay! And lots of consulting projects. It's all good stuff. It's all happy stuff. The person running the business is making a change themselves. They passed off clients and staff to us. There, I guess as much as I can announce. I can't say any names. I don't know where my NDA starts and ends. Not sure if you have video. Didn't look, but maybe PF Sense Unit. Maybe start with configuring UniFi Cloud, UniFi AP in the inform. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Is actively a couple things I'm working on. That is included. That is something I'm working on. Is a new version for 20. It's right now, if you watch my old videos on how to set up PF Sense with UniFi with VLANs, as long as you're watching my older videos and you're using the old version, the old settings, I should say, old UI, which I like better anyways, inside of UniFi, that works out pretty well. You're able to see things in there in the same way it was in my video. If you're using a new UI, things are just a little bit different. So my plan is to make a new 2022 version, because that video is like from 2019. So I will make some new 2022 versions of how to set up VLANs and everything else. One of the things that's going to change a lot is once I have my new studio within the next month or so, hey, supply chain, I'm waiting on a ceiling to come in. It's 3 weeks on back order, but the when you're waiting on all this and supply chain, anyways, lost my train of thought. Once I have my new studio, I'll have more time where I just focus on a lot of that. That's going to be a huge thing where I sit down and create a lot more of these videos, because I'll have time to and really dive in and focus on it. I also will do more than one live stream, because I can do easier to do a live stream at my house. So if I want to be home, I can be home and do my live stream at night. I can do some business live streams where I can do some business Q&A huddles with people. And I think there's probably not as huge of an audience for the business ones, which might make it fun to do a more personalized type of business Q&A episodes and stuff like that. So I can help people targeted for the business channel and help people targeted on the networking and storage and NAS and everything else we covered. So how do you back up your YouTube channel? Actually, I have an answer for that. I use TubeBuddy. There's TubeBuddy's got a great tool that will copy all the metadata out of your channel. Now, what I don't do is back up the videos because I don't need to back them up once they're on YouTube. I keep a final copy of all of the videos. So I can re-upload all of my videos if YouTube did something horrible or I wanted to move my data and content to another platform. I have the final rendered version organized year by year for every video I've ever done, which is like 1,600 or so videos, 1,500, somewhere in there, 1,500 videos. The only thing missing would be the metadata descriptions, but I have those saved into a TubeBuddy. It automatically grabs them and throws them into a spreadsheet, and then I just keep a copy of that spreadsheet. And I update it probably every couple of weeks. So worst case is if some video got somehow purged off of YouTube and I lost access, I'd lose a couple of metadata. But the metadata is not the important part anyways. The metadata usually just has whatever links I talked about, and I have those in notes. So technically I have a backup of that too. Do you focus on large companies or is it a mix? Oh, it's a mix. I have, we have at least 2 in the Fortune 1000 list that we've consulted with, worked with, and are continuing to engage with. And we have some small places. We have an accounting firm with like 8 people, 4 people. So all over the place. Yes. We were looking at a new office and a move the studio. Instead, we changed. All that nothing worked out. Every place we looked at, people wanted astronomical amount of money for their buildings that were garbage, in my opinion. Like, I wouldn't buy this. One building was full of mold and they wouldn't come down on a price. The building had been for sale for 9 years and they wouldn't come down on price. Still not sold. And we looked at it last year. So we're coming up on 10 years of for sale. Yeah, but we don't want to, lower our price on this. We'd rather turn the HVAC system off and let the whole building have mold inside of it. Yeah, the remediation's about 40,000 for that. So sorry. The other problem is a couple of buildings looked at the taxes were so much in a city wouldn't budge. We're like, well, here we are. And I happen to own a new house that I built. So that it's a relatively new construction. My house was built in 2019 with a large basement. So we decided to just move the studio to the basement because now I can just walk downstairs. Yeah, I might do a UniFi and Untangle setup. I might do a couple more Untangle videos. I still like Untangle. It's the diminishing returns problem. It takes a lot of time and effort to put a video together, and then it gets very few views. And the problem is with the Untangle videos, they don't get a lot of views. So I'm always mixed on how much time I want to put into an Untangle video. They're good. I think it's not a dig at the product. It just doesn't get the engagement on YouTube. By the way, because Untangle is a paid product, that's enough to turn off most of the home users. And for the enterprise users, they just buy the support package that comes with Untangle because that's part of what your fees are with it. So yeah. How well does Ansible tie in with UniFi and pfSense? Never used it with it. So, yep. Yes, Eric's one of our network engineers here, does a lot of consulting. Eric has seen projects all over the place, man. It is Eric was on the call today with the people looking for 2,000 switches and setup and configuration. So yes, it is a very big mix because Eric was also helping someone solve a policy routing VPN for a much smaller system. So it is all over the place. Ah, yes, it really is. It's New York City real estate. The Louis Rossman, he's ranted about this. I've watched maybe a little bit of him, but I feel exactly where he's coming from on there of just how wild it is. Like, just it's crazy. It's just I don't get it. These people will let a building sit for sale forever without being occupied, and the taxes. I mean, one of the buildings you look at, the taxes are, and this is a standalone building, by the way, nice size, but I think they were 13 or $14,000 a year in taxes. So you're going to pay a few $1,000s, well, a little over $1,000 something a month in taxes, unrelated to the actual owning of the building and upkeep. And by the way, the building was built in the 70s, and that was the last time it was remodeled. That was the last time the roof was put on it. And a roof is going to be on that building right around the $70,000, $80,000 mark. The HVAC system is going to be another 10, 20,000 because also it had been serviced in the 80s. So you're buying someone else's problem, and what's the upside of it? Nothing really. What UPS do you recommend for a rack graceful shutdown? I've actually bought recently, and I should do a review on them. Maybe I'll pull them out and set them on the table, do some review on them or something. They are APCs. I bought a couple of their smart UPSs. They work great. They do graceful shutdown. They're both rack mount ones. They're the lithium ion ones is actually why I bought them. Let me find the Amazon link for it to give you the right ones. Orders, they were the APC. And we started. So I've been using it since November. So I wanted to use it for a little while. Please know, if you notice my videos, I tell you at least I've been using these things for some period of days. I don't like a review that's like, hey, I just got this, check it out. That doesn't tell you as much. You could have read the specs. You want to know, did it work? Was this good? And this is the one I'm using at my home. With all the things I have, not much, but I mean, I got a Synology, a TrueNAS, and pfSense firewall. It gives me 12 minutes of runtime. And and this also runs my PoE switches that power my PoE cameras and everything else. So I still have 12 minutes of runtime on it, which is fine to do a graceful shutdown. And then this one's a little bigger, but I like this one's been working really well. This one we're using for our lab rack 2 at the office. And this one, no problems. This is APS Smart UPS. Both of these graceful shutdown. Bought them both same time and turned them both on. They're actually a lot lighter than your usual ones because they're lithium ion, but they both work well. Oh, I know. I listen to everything at 2x. That's why I don't watch many live streams myself. I watch so many things at 2x. Like I heard Steve Gibson. I like, Security Now, and I'm listening to him on in real time once. I'm like, oh man, did Steve have an aneurysm? Oh wait, I'm so used to listening to him at 2x. He talks so slow in real person. Like I have no suggestions on getting DNS over HTTP working on the UDM Pro. Did it have shag carpeting? I think I have pictures of it. It wasn't shag. Let me find it though. It definitely lots of paneling, but no shag. But I'll show you the pictures of one of the buildings we looked at. It came down on price eventually because they bugged us a couple times to come back, and we told them no. On that picture though, the basement is what showed its age. Where did it go? Here we go. This picture here, it had a kitchen. That kitchen's all a giant kit, and it's all one piece. This is so cool. Look at this. It's all just the stove and everything's all one piece on this. It was like, it's really novel. So yes, that building was quite old, had not been remodeled. So there's that. But that's that's the problem with these places. That's why we're not doing that. So if I'm watching anything less than 2x, I'm invested in it. You're not wrong. For sure. What else was I going to cover today? I feel like I was going to cover something else. I can cover all kinds of things. What else do we want to know today? Yeah, it's kind of like an old school IKEA kitchen. Didn't you review a UPS because I remember smaller lightweight batteries? I brought it up before. I mean, I've talked about it before when I first bought them because they were on the table, and I remember bringing them up in a live stream, but never really a review. 4 buildings, P2P wireless, all UniFi, adding about 15 security cams per building. Suggestion, I like Synology. Synology surveillance station is nice. So, hey, awesome. Thank you, Scott. Want to say thank you for providing great content on your videos. Very clear. You've been a big influence on getting BFSense, TrueNAS, analytics in general. Windows is a dumpster fire. Windows is a dumpster fire for sure. Ah, yes. Bash the like button. There's 150 of you, but only 47 likes. If we can get that problem solved, that'd be great. UniFi gracefully shut down? I don't know how to do a UniFi graceful shutdown. I shut down my UniFi server with it's Linux, so it can shut down with the Linux shutdown command. So I don't know what you're trying to shut down gracefully. Let's see. What else should what one of the other things I'm working on. Let me quit this. Can I share this out? Maybe. See if this thing's working. That didn't work. Well, I don't have to show that part of it, but at some point I will do a video on this. So make sure the system's up and running. Make sure I don't have to show anything here that I can't show. User logged in, user logged out. Fun stuff. Let's see. I thought I posted this about a week ago and no one cared. And I talked, me and my friends were talking about it like a week ago when they announced it and we were laughing about it. And it's like, now it's a big deal today. So, uh, does the channel splitting mean we can ask related questions in these vlogs anymore? No, I don't. I'm not too big, but I do prefer to keep them focused. And I'm going to do separate live streams because why not? That way I can have a live stream where I can only answer business questions or only focus on tech a little bit better for the audiences. So my plan is to do 2 live streams once it's split too. That's I'll do the business tech ones and maybe Brett will join me and we'll do a bunch of business Q&A and have some fun with that. So yeah, we have some solid plans. I don't just want to do it to split the content, but why not take opportunity to do something a little bit more and a little bit different? Yes, it can be a bit of a resource hog. There is no doubt about that. My Synology at any given moment is definitely using a decent amount of resources. It is what it is. I don't really have a solution. Buy a bigger Synology has been my solution. I mean, we've got some bigger installations. They work well. So there's other ones out there. There's the one I always forget the name of that we deal with the school districts. That's what we deal with it. Exact Vision. We've installed it in schools and some very, very large installs. Exact Vision is nice, but what gets people about these is the recurring annual license fees. And they're like, I want to buy a surveillance system, not buy one every year. And I'm like, nope. Once you get into the, higher end surveillance companies, that's you buy the maintenance and support contracts with them. Synology's done a good job, and it's because of the way they brand everything differently and handle things differently that their licenses are at least perpetual. So that's one of the big selling points of Synology is perpetual license, but that means sometimes because of the Synology's not being as high end, you got to buy one of their higher end devices and put more money up front. But then again, you're still putting the money in. You're like, well, I'm just going to go get an Exact Vision system. Then you go, oh, I got to pay every year for it. Yes. And Exact Vision will supply you with hardware, or you can build your own servers and, build your own server. Cool. As long as you built it fast enough, but now you're putting the money up front to build that. So yes. Do you know why NECA have end of life settled products in low mid range? Supply chain. It's like the joke with everything. I'm willing to bet without even any inside knowledge that I bet they had more products that were supposed to be coming that they can't get because of supply chain. If I had to take a stab at it. And this is not just a NetGate problem. This is an everybody problem. Matter of fact, I did laugh at one of my friends. He's about my age. And he says, that's his new answer to dating. He says, whenever someone asks why I'm still single, supply chain problem. He goes, it's just the answer for everything. I was like, that's great, dude. Fun times. Yeah, I don't really have, there's so many things right now that are just waiting on supply chain problems. Let's see. Can I share incognito windows? And why would Tom share an incognito window? I want to talk. I have a couple things I'm working on that I think some people might be interested in. Let's see if we do share. And we say share screen, Chrome tab. Can we do incognito? I don't know if it'll let me. Yes, it will. All right, cool. So I think this is the right window. I only see one of them. Hold on, I gotta get these windows lined up better. There we go. This is a test machine I'm setting up. And that's not, just so we can get it out of the way, that's not my public IP address. Feel free to look up what that IP address is. Anyways, this is a system that we are a demo system we have. Yes, I know the product keys in there too. This is completely an old used computer that we had for this. So yes, I'm aware of anything that I'm sharing inside of here, but this is a system I'm setting up to give people an idea of what the Ninja RMM that we've moved to. So this is something I've talked about. Yes, the aspect ratio, as I see Eric has brought up here. Yes, we've moved away. We're on our way away from Enable, and the Ninja RMM system is our new platform we're going to be using for all the remote management and managing things and activities and remote tools and dealing with approved patches or installed patches and every fun thing that we're going to be doing on this. So I'm going to be doing some videos on this. A few people had asked. This is that split type of video. This is not a product for home labbers. This is not a product for end users. There are a good number of IT business owners and managed service providers that do follow me that definitely have an interest in this video. So it's probably going to go up on my main channel because it's not separate, but I know a lot of people have been asking about this particular thing. So this will be definitely something that I'll be covering. I've loaded lots of randomness on here. It's a lot of people don't understand necessarily what an RMM is, and it's remote management and monitoring. What this allows us to do is there are a lot of computers in here. I've just got a narrowed down in scope demo account to give a demo and show it how it works. So I'll be covering this. I'll be covering how Ninja works, and the whole system so far has proven really good as we've migrated everybody over to it. I just kind of I'm going to try to articulate it in a better way, but with Enable, we just kept running into a lot of little hiccups and problems. And because we do a lot of co-managed IT, this is kind of an example of what a co-managed IT situation may look like for certain clients where they want access to certain amounts of dashboard. Well, the way we can give access to the dashboard in Enable was not great. The way we can do access to the dashboard where we manage people's systems so we can narrow and scope the systems in their account and allow them to log on and co-manage it with them. Ninja just seemed a lot better for that. The Enable patching was always but so far the patching seems to have gone pretty good for using Ninja. The way it works, though, I like the more modern UI. It kind of has a better feel overall. I've been pretty happy with it from that point of it. So having all this and the way it works has been pretty solid. It really hasn't caused me much grief. I actually like the way they have all the different things here for quickly jumping into like different things. All right, this is SanDisk, SSD, disk partitions. I just think they laid things out better, being able to pull the event logs, better events, non-critical events. What's the product? We use Sentinel-1. I am going to cover Sentinel-1, the same computer. It's going to be covered on there. So it's all a pretty solid system. Have you used the management project Desktop Central? Here's the problem, and it's one of the problems is I don't know. Like Eric's impressed with it. It feels way better than Enable. It's harder to articulate why it's better, but there's a few things like the way it handles everything in a nicer web UI versus the way Enable has a web UI, but it's actually emulating more like a desktop application. I like a lot of that feel. The overall smoothness of it, we like. The patching has gone well. But one of the challenges is, and we like even for a demo we set up, I'm not going to get into the details when we're testing even some products. Like even a test for us is deploying it on like 200 or 300 systems to do a test, just a test, and then rolling it back because we didn't want to roll it out to the whole fleet, because if we roll to the whole fleet, the problem is exponential. This is why it's so challenging to test an RMM. Every single tool tells me they're great. I went and talked to a few friends of which ones they hated, which ones they liked, and I got such a weird mixed answer. It is a regular weekly discussion and under Reddit r MSP. My overall feelings, though, with Ninja were they seem to make a pretty solid product. I talked to the people at Ninja. Their engineers have been great to work with. So when we started rolling this out on a bunch of systems, it seemed to go pretty well. And we said, well, let's roll out on a few more. Let's keep migrating. We started this process all the way in November, and then we hit critical mass where we said, all right, we're going to make a decision, or maybe even October. It's been a few months ago is when we started testing with batches of clients at a time, which of course creates kind of a pain for us because now we have more than one. We have a split of systems. And once we decided we felt it did things better, we started just, moving more over there. And then we finally hit it and said, all right, let's move everything over there. And yeah, it's not an easy decision to make. And I don't have the time. Every salesperson gives me the same pitch. Insert name of RMM. They're telling me they're the best. You have to pick someone. Ninja had the right set of features, had a good offering overall, and we said, hey, we like the interface. So those factors led us to Ninja. Is there something better out there? There's always going to be someone telling me the thing they're using is better, either a salesperson or another IT person. That's every day I hear that you should be using this, insert name of product. At some point, you just have to make a decision. There was enough pain points with Enable. I stayed with them for years, since like since they were GFI. I think we started using them in 2014, maybe. We stayed with them for 7-8 years, and we decided we like this more modern UI and the way things work better here. So that's my overall how I feel about it. What do you recommend home lab? Something like RMM, patching, etc. We can get some experience before we go into real world. There's not really much out there that I'm aware of. You can play with, though, and I will bring up the one open source one out there that is very much has a lot of features and a dedicated support people, is Tactical RMM. It's a pretty neat system. It is a free and open source one that you can host. So that's at least one you can look at it. It's going to give you the same concept because all the RMMs, even if the buttons are in different places, they generally have the same set of features. So having that same set of features means that, you can, generally speaking, let me go to Ninja 1. Switch it out to their main website. You look at their products, their RMM. If you read through these feature lists, you'll find that these feature lists are, oh, look, the best RMM software in a grid, like all their marketing. And if you went to another one, or if you went to Enable, you'll find a very similar marketing and a very similar IT asset management, cloud backup, service desk, remote access, software deployment, IT documentation and patch management, endpoint and monitoring. Awesome. And if you went to the next company, same list over and over again. So have the dog be 4% on the carpet. Yeah. I may have froze for a minute. So OpenVAS. On that kind of topic, if you're looking for a vulnerability scanner, OpenVAS is a solid product as well. For those of you that haven't heard of it, it was that company called Green Brain Networks. I think it's called Green Brain. Green Bone, not Green Brain. For those of you that haven't heard of this, OpenVAS is a assessment tool. It's pretty neat. This is a good for vulnerability scanning and things like that. Something you can play with. It's definitely pretty cool. Hate to say it, that fell into the thing. I'm like, I like this tool called Invoice Ninja. So why not have Ninja RMM? Because then we can have confusing conversations in our office. So there's that. There's that as a reason to switch to it. Yeah, I see someone said green. Someone got it right. I don't know why. Green Brain is a comic book store down the street. So that's part of what was in my head. There's a local comic book store called Green Brain Comics. I know I went to some business classes with the people that own it. Nice people. We really do need a third Ninja product. I'll go with that because we just need to, like, Ninja naming things and everything else. Lawrence Ninja Systems. I can go with that. Yeah. Oh, that makes it even more fun. CIMS, CMS, SSIMS, and SIMS. Ninja Air Fryer. Didn't they have a Ninja food processor too? I think there was a Ninja food processor, so we can keep theming all of it. Ah, yes. So much fun packed in one place. But yes, I will be doing videos on all these fun topics and covering how they work and covering what these software does and doesn't do with their Ninja data protection and their backups. Does this thing have a backup? Ooh, 88 gigs of storage. So it has a backup. Does it have see if I can get that to work. I gotta put I don't like I'd see what I gotta do. No, I don't feel like doing it. But hey, look, it has backups. We'll talk about that too. Already did all the backup testing and restores on it. Their backups are different than the way Enable does it, because Eric will tell you he's the one that does all the policy writing for the backups. So Eric will tell you that the policy writing on this is not what we want it to be, but they're working on it. It's actually been very nice talking to the people at Ninja because they've been very engaging on fixing things and stuff like that. So that's been pretty cool. We also have a script library, software updates. We can do that. Windows update. Are you sure you want to run the script? Hey, why not? Why not kick off the script? Patch manager software patches can't start it. Awesome. Details. Someone will always, when I do that video, when I start doing these videos, there will always be a bunch of people going, but I heard, and there's a debate that was after the Kaseya incident. I can tell you why I ruled out Kaseya for all of you that would like to know. Kaseya in July of 2021 became a really popular name because they are terrible at the way their old code base hadn't even gone through even rudimentary code testing, code review. Sorry, that's a big factor is security. The Ninja team pitched me strong on security. I talked to them, had to sign some non-disclosure, so they'll reveal to me some of the stuff they do. They need to make some more public documents of it, but overall, they do a good job on security. That's the bottom line. Kaseya less than good job on security, as was made evident to the world. So that's definitely a thing. I see a few people have asked about pricing. I can't really discuss it. That's part of what you will have to engage with the sales team on there. There is a giant document that compares all the tools. It's not the most up to date, but let me see if I can find it. And they give you what their ballpark is for pricing on things. And honestly, I'm not even the pricing person. I didn't negotiate the pricing with Ninja. I let Brett do that. So for those of you that wondering, I think about things like security. I think about things like functionality. I don't want to think about. That's why I hired Brett. I let him think about things like, can we make money with this tool? And that's an important factor, but I don't feel like negotiating with it. So I don't even know exactly what our price point is on this. I hope it's a good deal. I feel Brett's a smart guy and he does good deals for us. So Brett and the other part of the team negotiated price. I just said, hey guys, I'll probably do a video on it. Can I get a discount? I might have asked that because that's as much as I said. And then tell Brett how much a discount is. This computer's not particularly fast. I don't know why it's using up so much data. Event logs and stuff like this. These are fun to play with. It's a pretty neat tool overall. But I also will be doing a video on Sentinel-1 because the Sentinel-1 is obviously another component of this. People ask me, why do you use it? It's expensive. Now, Sentinel-1's, I don't care who you are. Sentinel-1, you're going to pay a lot for. So it's the Sentinel-1 product demo is going to be a little bit more in depth. Definitely gonna be a lot of fun to cover as a topic, but it's going to be a lot more in depth to cover that as a video. Just try to make it concise. I've done one video on Sentinel-1 showing how we where Sentinel-1 had a problem. We've switched since then to using Sentinel-1 Direct as we quit buying it through Enable, which that was one of the advantages we had through Enable, was buying some of the products through them. Once we started not buying the products through them because we wanted, you just get a better set of features when you buy Sentinel-1 directly through a company like Pax8, or if you're big enough directly through Sentinel-1, the feature set's better. So we said, why not go that way? Because it's not cheap when you get it through Enable either. So, but I don't know if I'll cover Sentinel-1 on Linux, though. They do support Linux, but I don't have any deployments where I've actively used it, so I can't give you an assessment. I can give an assessment on what it's been like to use Sentinel-1 for pushing into 2 years, I think, is when we moved to it. So we've had plenty of experience across a lot of endpoints, way different. And I'll probably do an updated review of Huntress at the same time. People have asked about that, and same thing, you know, I'll talk about we still use Huntress even though we use Sentinel-1. So hopefully that makes sense. Just like a doctor, ask them something costs and they don't know. Yeah, I'm sure we got a good price on it. Yeah, the S1 Linux deployments, I don't know enough about it and I haven't really used it. So the dashboard, you get the set, we use Sentinel-1 Complete, the high-end one. You just get the full dashboard segmentation. It's way nicer. Matter of fact, I think right now, if you sign up, my understanding, and this was what as I understand from people I've talked to, if you buy into Enable, you only get the integrated Sentinel-1. And this is actually what got me talking to the Sentinel-1 engineering team, was when I did that video talking about what Sentinel-1 missed. Even they were confused at the way Sentinel-1 looked, because there's like a special version, I guess, at the time that they were giving to Enable. So we noticed it's a newer version, what we get when you buy it direct. So, yep, Pax8. That's the great Pax8's been of all the vendors we've dealt with that are like the middle resellers, Pax8's definitely the most convenient. Pax8's great. The rest of the companies are kind of Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember, and no one would give me. It's like I'd have to go back in, log into our Sentinel-1 day, which by the way we got rid of, so we didn't have to pay for it no more, because when we canceled it, so we didn't have double billing. It's hard to say, but there's so many buttons in Sentinel-1. It's hard to do it direct, because unless you screenshot it and analyze it, there were some things that were just missing in there. I know the threat hunting was not there. That was one of the things that was missing that we have now, is when we want to do an investigation in the threat hunting, it works now. It did not work so much when we were dealing with it and with the other system. So yeah. Does my staff prefer Linux? Not necessarily. Some of the people, Eric's kind of a Linux person, but the rest of the people here use Windows. So, I mean, we all like Linux to some extent, but some things don't work on Linux, so we use Windows. You know, I always laugh whenever they say it's the year of the Linux desktop. I'm like, for me, the last 10 years have been the year of the Linux desktop, but I don't force people to use it, because it doesn't work with their line of business application. It doesn't work with the thing they need to get done. And honestly, outside of this tech community, people don't care what operating system they run. Everything's just a tool to get something done. So you don't try to force. It's not something we try to force. So I think the support for S1 through Enable is kind of goofy, because you couldn't ask S1 directly, had to open tickets through Enable. That was a big one there. We still do the support through Pax8 because that's where we're buying it through. But yeah, that double, and you couldn't get easy answers, which we usually just Googled our way and poked our way through it until we figured it out. But as for Linux, I mean, if you can get your job done, I don't care if someone here uses Linux, but ultimately it has to be about whether or not they can get their job done. And if they're more familiar with a certain environment, or if some of the tools they're using, you know, we have a Splashtop integration comes with the system, and I can't use Splashtop unless I fire up a Windows VM. So yeah. Will I revisit Zabbix? Yes, I would really want to because Zabbix looks cool. They've got a new interface. I just haven't had the time to reconfigure it. This is one of those things like it's so much time to do these videos. Sometimes there's like 3 days of putting prep time in. Someone says, but the video is only 16 minutes long. I'm like, yeah, it took days of prep work, getting all the details to make sure I could put it together in a video. But I do want to do an updated one of Zabbix because the latest version looks nicer. They've really kind of polished it up a little bit. And I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, Zabbix is one of those great tools that if you want to do some monitoring or whenever it says, hey, how do you monitor a bunch of pfSense systems? Zabbix, it's probably the easiest way to do that. It integrates into so many different things. Matter of fact, we brought up Zabbix to I mentioned earlier in the live stream, the company with 2,000 switches that they are setting up, and Zabbix is one of the options for monitoring that. You can do different things on there. So, do you script out what you're going to say in your videos? Not really, but kind of. And let me see if I can pull a script up. I think I have. I'm just going to read you the script. It's the way I write it. So the way I write a script is, I thought I had one pulled up. Oh, too much filtering. So this is the one I did for, I'm going to throw it in the chat. This is my script for securing TrueNAS. This is all that I had done. And it's in there. It's 1, MFA setup, 2, keep up to date admin interface. And that actually is, I sent it there. And then let me show you the tool I use. And this is setting by the camera. So you guys can see my phone. Come on, focus. Maybe. There we go. There you go. There's a script that I'm reading that is usually on a camera. So this is how I put it. And there's a holder under the camera. So my phone usually just gets bolted just under the camera. Or I actually, if I look this way, I have a teleprompter and I put it, it's got a mirror on it so I can see this. And that's a lot of my scripts are just talking points. So I remember why I'm sitting in front of the camera and what I'm supposed to be talking about. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh, let's see. I generally see the point running Linux for work if you end up with Windows VM or RDP open for about everything you do. For me, I don't, because I use Screen Connect for the projects I work on, and I'm usually SSHing into things. So for me, Linux full time is no problem at all. I rarely open up Windows. I think about 3 times a month I open up the Windows VM. That's as much as I've ever had to use it. So for me, it's not a big deal, but obviously it kind of depends on people. We have to have another VM set up with sometimes special VPNs to get in with projects for certain clients. So it just varies a lot. Days effort for a few minutes of implementation. Yes. Sometimes. Hey, from Chile. Awesome. Now, there are exceptions to when I script things. Occasionally, when there's a bunch of model numbers, if you've heard me say model numbers without stumbling over the words, then yes, it's probably because it was on a teleprompter, because that helps a lot. When I want to get really long model numbers right, that goes right to the teleprompter. Let's see. Sometimes it really be that way. Yes, it do. Do you guys resell carrier data and voice to your clients, recurring revenue? Um, Not really. We do sell voice services. We've partnered with OIT VoIP, so that we do sell voice services to them. We don't really get into the data reselling services as much. I just didn't. I see here. There's a lot of different schools of thought here, and a lot of people. And this is literally the pitch because these people called master resellers. Is it MSA, Master Service Agent? They will contact you. Tom, you should be selling Comcast and Wide Open West and blah 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 all together. And you got to lock them into 2-year contracts. That way, your clients are locked in and they can't switch to anyone else, and you can make good revenue on it. Blah blah blah. And I'm always like, I feel like I end up because if you try to commission everything and try to monetize every interaction with the client, I feel at some point you won't even steer them towards something that's a better solution because suddenly you can't make money off of it. I've not been big on a lot of those, but when it comes to the voice system, we used to do some free PBX. The problem is maintenance on free PBX is you need some staff to do it. It becomes a burden every time there's a problem free PBX. And there's not a ton of free PBX people out there. Chris from Crosstalk, he is really, really busy. It's not like he has time sometimes to take on even more support. So we partnered with my friend Ray over at OIT VoIP, and that's what we've been reselling for voice services, because that's at least a service I think is reasonable that people go, hey, I just want you to deal with my phones. No problem. We take it over. So that's what we do for phone service is we are a reseller of OIT system, which means if you'd like to buy phones, you can call us. We can help you with your phone deployments. So if you'd like to deploy 100, 200, 300 phones, maybe 700 phones, we can help you with that project. So that's been something we've been working on. Yes. Yeah, Zabbix. If you dig around on my channel, I believe I interviewed one of the a Zabbix person like 5 years ago, and that's where they were from. So that was cool. People about these customer lock-ins are so weird. Like they don't even know you could sell good service instead. Yeah, I mean, literally, we've taken over so many IT contracts, and they are cookie cutter IT companies that tried to do everything they could to monetize every interaction. Someone told me, like, what's a good secure app for messaging on the phone? I'm like, oh, Signal works great. And the next thing was, well, don't they have a reseller program? I know, no, Signal's free is what I replied. I need something I can sell to my clients at a good markup. I'm like, oh, someone else even something silly. Someone told me that the reseller program for the PDF reader didn't have enough margin. They wanted to know which one had the best margin so they could sell it to all their clients. I'm just like, everything is some opportunity to monetize the engagement with their client. And I'm like, you know what? At some point, the clients notice that everything is some upsell all the time, and they kind of get sick of talking to you and going, what are you going to sell me on today that I might not even be happy with? And it kind of shows when that attitude is coming out of these companies, like you're always selling. And I'm like, really? I mean, I'm in business to make money. I'm not going to deny that, but I don't think I need to make it at every single interaction of every time I talk to a client. I'm trying to sell them on some product all the time. I mean, it's just not the way I do business. I think my clients like me better for it. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. And there's someone out there sitting on their yacht, lighting $100 bills going, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about because look at all the money I got. I don't know. I guess that's not my goal. I could be wrong. I don't know. What is the other things in here? Cabling jobs. Yeah, I talked about those at the beginning. Channel changes. I talked about that. There's definitely more value and reputation than nickels and dimes. Yes, that's coming from one of my staff members. I don't think they just say that because they're paid to say things that are nice. What are the other things we wanted to talk about? Oh, someone was upset at me for sharing my videos but not helping them with their problem. I thought that was a weird take someone had. They deleted their comments, but someone says, you take the time to share the videos, but you won't help me with my problem. And I said, I don't know, reload it. And they said, that's not helping. And I'm just like, I'm not under obligation to fix the edge case problem that I don't see the problem like myself. You say it won't load and with vague details. So yeah, it's weird. I never get aggravated. I minor get aggravated, but it's never enough to ever deter me from doing what I do. So that's an important. I always just kind of scratch my head at some of the crazy things. Yeah, turns out, I mean, I give them free food and free hot sauce, but they also want money. Why does TrueNAS replication need to start over if I move drive to new build, new install? I asked for them. That's what I recommend. TrueNAS replication is a block level. So if things change at that block level of ZFS, it starts over. So I'm not understanding your question completely, but because it's a block level thing, when you move to a new pool, it's not like files. It's synchronizing things at a block level, not a file level. So if you talk about moving a pool somewhere else, it's going to have to start all that over again. If you're using something like rsync is going to be your tool that synchronizes at the file level. Happy Thursday from the TrueNAS Open Storage people. Yes, glad to see they're in here in the live stream. So I'm excited. The new TrueNAS I just did a video on securing TrueNAS. TrueNAS scale is really close. We have TrueNAS 13 for the core coming up soon. So there's a lot of good TrueNAS news coming. I'm looking forward to dive into some of that because that's still where I love all their storage stuff. Matter of fact, that the consulting I was doing yesterday on a company, putting in a couple, I think they're the M50s. They're the big boy servers, the high availability, awesome enterprise ones. And it always blows my mind. And this is so cool. I'm consulting with a company doing these large scale servers at, $100,000 servers that they have in their place. And it's the same software that you can load as any listener and download. That's always what's been kind of cool about TrueNAS is it works on my small home NAS, which is well underpowered and not very fast. I have one of the TrueNAS, the original old TrueNAS Mini. I still use it, still works, even though it has an Intel Atom processor in it. And it's the same software running much slower than that's being used at these large enterprise spaces. It's always a really cool feature to me about that. So you were not wrong at all. Customers expect trust, and if they know you look out for them, they will keep coming back. This is a good point there, because if you're supposed to be working as a outside, or I don't know if I love the term, but it is what it is, virtual CIO, VCIO, am I really asking in the best interest of my client if I'm also a commission person who sells internet to them? And if I'm selling internet to them, but then there's other options that aren't on the list, but are providing better internet, but there's no commission in it, now where's my decision-making lie? Is it the most commission for me or the best deal for the client? This is why I try to stay out of some of those. Matter of fact, one of the consulting gigs where people just bought a bunch of hours, they purposely weren't going to buy any products from me, so there was never any bias. I would only suggest product, but no matter what products I suggest, they would never buy it through me. They always wanted to go through other places to get it. And I said, that's fair enough. They wanted to ensure my unbiased opinion. And I said, that's fine. Buy my hours. That's fine. Oh, yes. Yes. Can you fix my PSNs? Here's my 12 pages of logs and configs. It's hard. I get it. When you have a problem, you're looking for a solution. But the problem also is you have to understand how to articulate the question, because you can't go in a support forum and post 30 screenshots, all of your logs and everything else, and hope someone else just sorts through it. And you have to do a little bit of the homework and research and bring it down to a concise question. There's a methodology that you go, hey, under these conditions, under this use case, and I've checked this, and this, in a short summary, this is the problem I think I have. Here's the specific log that I'm looking at. So it's easier to understand. Because someone, they posted my forums the other day. Do you see what's wrong, Tom? 12 screenshots. I don't always have time to read 12 screenshots and try to see, do I know what's wrong? I'm not even sure exactly what their goal or the problem was. And that's where some of the problems begin. So please ask questions more concisely. I never yell, hey, noob or whatever, or I'm not rude to people, but I say, I don't have time to read all of that. You're going to have to narrow down the scope of your problem. And especially when you're doing forums like that. So we are looking forward to see what you think. Yes. The TrueNAS scale is pretty cool. So that's definitely lots of neat stuff. I like that they're doing the dual development here. I think there's a lot of opportunity on both sides. I did a write up in Reddit. Someone says, well, does this mean cores going away with scale? And I'm like, not at all. Not at all. Here's my thoughts and my perspective, because core is that tried and true. Because by the way, companies with $100,000 invested in their storage server, they're not ready to try the latest and greatest. They need the most reliable, absolutely bulletproof storage server that's well proven, and that's still going to be TrueNAS Core for a while. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's any issues with TrueNAS Scale, but it's still a release candidate. It takes a long time for a software to mature to the absolute rock solid stableness that you get out of some of the more mature products. So yeah, I'm for it all the way around. Switzerland, TrueNAS Scale yet optimized for 10 gig or still only 1 gig stuff? I don't know, because TrueNAS Scale is still beta, so I don't know. What else do we have on here? I have replication going and somehow system broke. I reinstalled TrueNAS, imported pool, replication started over. I don't know when you say something broke, there's a good chance that when something broke, that also broke the synchronization. If for some reason the two things are out of sync, it's got to resync them. It's as simple as that. Oh, due to forced perspective, I thought your microphone was a nitrous injected rack server. Maybe. Let's see. Context. Yes. Oh, let's see. What else do we have in here? Should I look into single high-end system or TrueNAS or TrueNAS Scale with a second compute node? I don't know. Depends on your use case. This is a Blue Yeti. Have I tested TrueNAS performance of NVMe? I think I'm trying to remember when I had that super micro server, I loaded TrueNAS on there. It works with NVMe's. I don't have any specific performance videos on it, but I have tested it with it. I don't think I have any videos. It performs really, really fast. Matter of fact, I think that's what they're using over at Linus Tech Tips is maybe their new storage server, I think, is NVMe. I know it runs TrueNAS. I think it's also like the NVMe, their 100 gigabit server. So yeah, it's absolutely compatible and works. For home lab, then the answer is yes. And I know that doesn't answer your question. The home lab is, what do you want to build? It's even though it's for a home lab, what do you want to build is what it comes down to. Buy a high-end server. Yes. Buy an extra compute node. Yes. Buy both. Why not? I don't know where your budget is. I don't know what project you're working on. Build one, tear it down, build the other one. So yeah, Linus is full of NVMe. Linus is full of, I thought he was now. I don't always watch many of Linus's videos, but I know he's using TrueNAS on it now. So yes, you can use TrueNAS, NVMe, and it works. TrueNAS in ESXi. I never virtualized TrueNAS in production, but it's fine if you want to do the whole lab thing. I just don't recommend it for production. It's always and not always, many times I've run into it buggy, and I do enough consulting, and I've consulted with people who even lost entire pools that were virtualized. I repeat it over and over again not to do it because of how many times I've seen it go wrong. You may have the perfect setup where it goes right. Great. Awesome. And then you're that other person that goes, it was going right all the way up until, and then it went all wrong. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen random CRC controller errors pop up through virtualization and pass through. Not what I recommend for production. We don't see as much of the hyperconverged. Not a ton of it. Love the comments you made. Changed to X today from app to web teams. Not 100% on the context of that. Here's which storage do I have now? This has now become our main one. Let me log into it. We'll do a share screen. There we go. So we have currently free 240 terabytes free. So we got to keep adding more to this. Let's see what else. Have any issues with scale? My permission inheritance is not working. I found when I was testing the beta that there was some goofiness with the inheritance permissions. I remember applying them twice or something like that to get them to work. I haven't tested it again since. It's on my to-do list to switch back over to scale. I was running into performance issues, so that was part of it, and that's what made me stop using it. I got to see if the performance issues are solved, because I'm using so much of this as storage targets for my hypervisors that I didn't like the loss in performance. It was inhibiting some of the other testing I wanted to do. So I know since they moved to release candidate, they've tuned it a lot better, and that's great. So I need to go back and readdress it. I need to do more videos on the permissions. Permissions are always confusing to people. Permissions and DNS are the two things. Well, maybe permissions, DNS, and VLANs. That is the trifecta of confusion when it comes to questions I see across my channel. I don't understand VLANs. It's in DNS is a global problem. That's why it's the joke. It's always DNS. But do you know why it's always DNS? Is because people don't get DNS. That's why it's always DNS. Yes, that's definitely hyperconverged, a buzz term. There's times to use a hyperconverged system, but yeah, people love to throw it in there. It's usually not even necessary. So it all depends what you're trying to do. Back to core now. Yeah, that's and I did a video on switching back and forth. That's actually the nice thing. You can just flip flop between them, so you can reload it and go back. This is a reload, and it was on there. This one I had a few different errors on this system, so I don't know why it didn't like it. The other one just had performance problems. This one had performance problems plus weird errors. I kept getting like what looked like cabling and CRC errors, but as you can see, there's no errors at all right now. All the storage is fine and everything's green, but it kept telling me every now and then a drive would drop out, but that only was happening on TrueNAS scale. Doesn't happen at all. I dropped it back to core. And here's the weird part. The errors would get into the ZFS system. So I had to do a scrub to fix all the errors. But when I switched it back to ZFS or core, TrueNAS core, I was able to scrub it. It went green again. So it was beta when I did it. So. Oh, yes. My favorite buzzword is SD-WAN. SD-WAN. Oh, let's tie them all together. Hyperconverged SD-WAN. You got to have hyperconverged blockchain SD-WAN. That's what you really need. Can you do an overview of tape backups covering all the hardware options? No, not likely. I just don't use them. It's so cheap to throw things in Backblaze. That's why we don't use tape backups. We just get it all offsite with Backblaze. That's probably the keep the buzzwords going. Single pane of glass. I need a single pane of glass where I can view my DNS blockchain SD-WAN. Why not? And it needs to be a hyper converged single pane of glass. Any plan to make videos of TrueNAS to Synology backup? There's not really any good way to do it. Rsync. That's the only way to really do it, is just to rsync it. There's ZFS. You can't use any type of replication because it doesn't use ZFS over on the Synology side. So you just need to rsync the data over. I don't really have, or you can use SMB, an SMB share to do it. So proof of concept is not. Now, I work with a lot of cybersecurity friends. So in the hacking community, a POC is huge. So it's probably misused term, but certainly not a buzzword term. So POCs are definitely, when it comes to, hey, I hacked this, or this has a security flaw, the first thing we're going to talk about is there a POC out available for it. So do you have any beginner videos in the works? I don't know what that means. I don't, that's always hard for me when someone says they watch a video on pfSense. They go, I don't even know what a firewall is. I'm like, well, I don't have an explainer video on firewalls, but what level of beginner are you? I mean, I only cover from wherever that pfSense firewall tutorial and beyond takes you, but I don't necessarily have, here's where the power button is on the computer. I don't know. And there's a lot of YouTube channels out there that cater more towards beginners, that are even more basic, which is great too. I mean, I don't know them off the top of my head. And I don't watch them because I'm not that level, but I know there's probably some good ones other people can suggest, or that you'll find that do start with a more basic, really large overview concept of things that then lets you narrow that down to what you're looking for. It's all about, it takes time to do knowledge, and everybody's at a different starting point. So I know where I start because that's where I want to be with my video making, but I absolutely know there's going to be, there's a gap below me for getting started in general, where we're at the very bottom. And I'm not the one to bring you there. I'm here when you get to this part, which is great, but there's certainly a lot of other YouTubers out there, a lot of good YouTube channels you can watch for free that cover some of the more basics of networking and things like that. So absolutely. I don't know if I should do a video on it. There's already plenty of videos on this topic. Copper clad aluminum is terrible. No, don't always use plenum. Plenum is a fire rating for the cable. Like it's a toxic, so the cable will burn without being toxic. It's not, you want to use pure copper cable, but you don't always need to use plenum cable. I have a whole video on whether or not you should buy a UDM Pro. So yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan of any of the UDMs. So that's the whole thing on there. Someone said, Professor Messer Net Plus playlist is pretty great for understanding networking concepts, even if you don't take the exam. And that's a lot of it too. Even if you don't take the exam, you just go to the practice exams to make sure you understand a concept. There's all kinds of stuff you can watch out there. So can you talk about pfSense first CE versus Plus? There's a blog post on Netgate's website that literally breaks it all down in detail. So pfSense Plus right now isn't that much different. It's got a couple extra features that's listed in that blog post. Not much. Like you get the OpenVPN import, I think, and the AWS import for VPN. There's not a massive difference between the two of them. So Don't you love how some people think fiber is better than copper for very short runs? Yeah. In new construction, you almost always have to use plenum. That's not true either. It depends on whether or not the wire is run in a shared airspace. That's when you have to use plenum. That's the rules for plenum. Like if you're using standard wire, we had someone who was convinced of that too, and we actually saved them a fortune on the bid because they originally wanted plenum, and I said, guys, you're running all the wire. This is a really cool job. All the wire was underground. It was literally all in conduit because the way they wanted it done was almost 100% conduit. I don't understand the point of putting plenum in a conduit. It seemed like overkill. So we're like, we can switch this. And they're like, well, really? I'm like, yeah. Doesn't the plenum cable have a better data rating? I'm like, nope. It's Cat 6. It's Cat 6, whether it's plenum or not plenum, it's still Cat 6. Cat 6 is the rating. Plenum is the plastic shielding around it, whether or not it has the fire rating on it. And they're like, we can save a lot on this job. You sure can. You got like 300 drops going in and a lot of cable. So, yes. Nope, I have no, not in the short term. Docker container with TrueNAS scale, not on my to-do list right now. It's down the road a bit. I don't have time to look at Sophos XG, so not interested in it. Maybe someone else will, but it's not on my to-do list. Plenum is more expensive than Riser, correct? I knew you meant Riser. Application firewalls, I don't think a lot about them. No worries, you are by far. I mean, I argued with a tech team at a company. So there was a group think of people that really thought plenum was a faster cable. And I just kept looking at them going, there was a moment when you have numerous very smart, talented IT people, part of a whole team at a company telling me I'm wrong, that I'm going, I don't think I'm wrong. I mean, who wants to bust out the Google here? But there was a moment when I suddenly said, am I saying a lot of words wrong that I think are right? So I won't lie. We all make mistakes. That's how I feel about it. Little off topic, what software for post-processing YouTubes, or you already have video on that? There's no post-processing. Everything's done with Caden Live. If you look, if you type in like workflow, you'll find I have whole videos breaking all that down. Oh yeah, as I mentioned earlier in one of my Twitter posts, this cable right here, this cable is plenum, and here's us pulling it, and it's in the shared airspace. It's going to go down this hallway here. So yes, this is plenum. It had to be plenum per code at this building. So in new construction, yeah, you're going to run into that a lot. So if you work a lot of new construction, and some people will always push it, and it kind of depends on the area you're in and things like that. Oh, we have a motto here. It says A don't pay. We wire everything B, but you're right. Some people will wire it A still. Either one works. I don't use virtualization in TrueNAS. I use XCP-ng for that. So favorite switches. I don't know that I have a favorite. We use a lot of UniFi because they're affordable, but that doesn't make them a favorite. That just makes them popular. But I don't know. I guess UniFi does make it relatively easy. So I'm going to say that's a pretty good one to use. Can you recommend what to look for in an employer as a field tech wanting a new job in an unfair city? I don't know. I've been unemployed now since 2003. No, 2004. So I started my business in 2003, but I still kind of did a little bit of part-time work for a company, but I haven't been employed since then. So I don't know what it's like. I mean, it's a long time. I'm pushing, 20 years of running a business. So I am not the best person to ask. Look for someone like me, and I have no idea how to quantify that. I think I'm a nice employer. I don't think I'm hated by my staff, but I don't know. You need to have a button that you can push for the virtualization at TuneAS. I like XCPNG. That's my go-to. The let me see if I can share something. Oh, we run all kind. I can actually just filter it. Here's our production system. This is what we use for all of our virtualization. These are our production systems. I can switch it to our lab systems. But yeah, I do all my virtualization in XCPNG. Even my Graylog is virtualized, Bitwarden, Jumpbox. Maybe one day I'll talk about what the Tunnel Bear project is. it's running on FreeBSD. It's something my staff set up. We called it Tunnel Bear because it's funny. It's a pfSense server for reversing VPNs. Graylog doesn't. There's some extra logs must have happened right here. But yeah, I like this system. It works well. We have lots of storage available. How many CPUs? We're using 105 of 191 gigs available. Perfectly split here. 18 running, 18 halted. Storage, reports, 6 users, no tasks. The most important part, there's no alarms. 154 V out of 80 CPUs. I can tie. We actually have more servers. I've only got these ones turned down and connected to this. I should say there's even more of them in there. But yeah, I like XCPNG. It's been my favorite for stuff. We're in Detroit, right? Well, south of Detroit. I say Detroit because that's the closest city, but we're in Michigan, Southgate, Michigan. You need to pay for the features. I don't need to pay for the features. XCPNG is open source, by the way. So is an orchestra. I have videos on how to set this up, both the fully open source version, all the features and everything else. And I always do my demo videos with the open source version because I want it to be accessible. But if you would like to buy support, or it's actually not features as much as support you're buying when you want to buy the enterprise version. So yes, it's all free if you want to use XCPNG. Sacramento, other side. So it's not snowing where you're at, right? It's cold here. I got to finish in a minute because I got to go work on things. There's plenty of houses to rehab in Detroit. So if you were here rehabbing, you were busy doing some stuff. So yes. Yes, this is look at my channel. There's all kinds of open source. Just overcast. All right, winding down. Last 10 minutes. Does anyone have any other comments? Any Q&A, things that you want to ask? I think you probably asked everything. I'm going to ask that there's 178 people and 120 likes. So if you can smash the like button, that'd be great. That does help the YouTube algorithm. What else do we got here? Rapid fire. Bash the like button. Oh, yes. I remember that. That was that infamous let me pull it up. this meme because someone got their porch stolen. Yes, they did. That happened. I forgot about that meme. That was a long time ago. When was this? 2018. In meme years, that's a long time. Get your porch stolen. Oh, I thought it was from the Detroit. It says it's from Cincinnati. I don't know what it's from. Either way, it could happen in Detroit. I'm not gonna argue about that. Yes. Look, we all know the jokes about Detroit. We're all aware. We live here. I appreciate video on quoting levels. Just help me local SE might trying to make it. Hey, awesome. Yeah, we're local to Southeast Michigan as well. So you probably bid against us. Cool. Hope you won. I've never had any smart drive troubleshooting problems. If I get a bunch of smart errors, the drive's usually bad. That's it's less of a troubleshooting problem. Bike ride location. I don't know. I gotta wait till winter's over. I haven't really thought much about motorcycles, and because it's winter. Because it's winter, what are you gonna do? So no thoughts there. That's right, Eric. We out here. If you want to have some fun, there's a YouTube video called Sunday Fun Day. I'll leave you guys with this for those of you wondering. And this is I'm not going to play it here. Probably run into a copyright problem if I did. But I can throw the link out there for you. For those of you who want to watch it. There's the Sunday Fun Day. It's Detroit's illegal car meets. It's definitely pretty wild. So the car meets that we have and all the people doing donuts and things like that. Interesting aspect to Detroit for those of you that interesting. Just an interesting tidbit about being here. All kinds of fun things go on here. Not all of them legal either, by the way. That's a part of it. The actually, yes, and I'm definitely among the people in there watching the illegal car races. So, fun times. They're always fun to do that. So, yes, Detroit Rock City, no doubt. Yeah, yes, lots of fun. Hey, Thomas from NZ. Thomas, all right, other side of the world. Yeah, all the car stuff that goes on in Detroit is just straight up wild. It's part of it too. The just being in Detroit, it's a car place. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is. It's a lot of fun. I'm a little bit of a car enthusiast, so that's a little bit of my background. Any other questions? Some getting ready to go home. I got to reply to some emails for home. Now that's cold right there. That is cold. Hey, they don't call us the Motor City, man. We put the world on wheels. Oh yeah, car culture here is wild. We have the world's largest car show here. World's largest. It's absolutely the Woodward Dream Cruise stretches out several cities. It's not like a city. Like, where's Woodward Dream Cruise? I'm like, the next few cities are participating in it like continuously. It's pretty wild. So, how's the Tesla? Yeah, I got a photo. Covered in snow. So that's what the Tesla looks like because it doesn't. Fun fact: there's no engine under the hood, so the Tesla, the snow just kind of doesn't melt on the hood. It's a even when you turn it on and warm it up. So yeah, so that's what the Tesla looks like in the snow. So there's the answer to how's the Tesla question. The Tesla's fine for long road trips. You just supercharge it. So we took it down south. A lot of fun. We went down to where did it go? Somewhere I got a picture. Yeah, probably here's good enough. We took it down to Tennessee, so that's a lot. That's a lot of miles. I don't know how far Tennessee is exactly, but it's more than 400 miles. I think it's 400-mile round trip, probably, or something. It's like three. Well, no, it's for. I'll have to really think about how far Detroit to Tennessee is. I just got in a car and drove for hours and hours and hours. So, interesting. Take the Tesla in the snow. It's fine in the snow. It works quite well. Around the Zen server does allow you to share one GPU. There are ways to do GPU sharing in Zen server, out of scope of me talking about it in detail. But yes, Google it and you'll find there's ways to share certain video cards with multiple VMs, as long as the video card supports it. So, yeah, could just I need to snow scrape it before it goes in there. Yep, 10 hours, no construction. Oh, sure. I do have a winter video of it. I have a couple of videos, I think, where I was playing in the snow in my Tesla. Definitely, it handles the snow pretty good. It's got, all-wheel drive, so no real issues there. Can I find Tesla snow? Will it? It looks like it is snow. I don't think I get to dig up the video, so okay, so there we go. Eric Googled it for me. Straight shot from my office is going to be 600 miles, not round trip. So I went on a 1,200-mile road trip on my Tesla and then drove around a mountain while I was down there and then drove it back. So 1,200 miles is the there and back. While I was there for a few days, I went around a mountain. So yes, it's a fun car for that. All right, now I'm way off topic and cars, so I'm going to wander off. Thank you everyone who joined. I maybe do I do another channel? Chris from Crosstalk talked about this too, because like doing a whole Tesla channel is one of those things, but there's enough Tesla channels out there. I don't think I can really add much to it. As much as I'm a car enthusiast, I don't think I could be a car vlogger. I tried to watch those and I don't like, don't get me wrong. They're clearly very popular to just talk about cars all the time. I don't know if I could build a channel out of it, but hey, maybe in the future, there's a time where there's a third channel that Tom talks about cars and motorcycles, because I do like it as a topic quite a bit. I like it when people ask me questions about it. I don't know what to say if I'm not doing it. And I don't know if anyone really wants to watch me wrenching on my motorcycles. I don't know. I don't really wrench on the Tesla much. It doesn't need stuff. I used to wrench on cars. Like I used to build hot rods, and I don't anymore. So I don't know that I feel like getting back into that. I don't, that's a fun hobby, but not something I'm quite as likely to do anytime soon. I don't know. Like, do I have, I don't know. There's probably some, I have some old pictures of me in cars I built. Maybe somewhere. I don't know. Oh, my other weird hobby here. We'll share this. Why not? I like being off topic sometimes. I said to end the show, so anyone watching is just watching me be off topic at this point. uh, oh, that's right, Jay-Z. I have a weird fascination with old scooters and old Hondas. So that's, yeah, somebody's not, I know cars are not on topic for this channel. That much I'm very clear on it. So 3 topics I can go on about are cars, tech, and one that I won't name here. Oh, yeah. There's I have always had a fascination. I grew up on a farm, so old. I used to work on old tractors and then cars and hot rods, and I love old classic motorcycles and things like that. So this is a '70s Honda. Yeah. What kind of VPN do you have on that scooter? Here we go. There's the problem. You cross the streams. Absolutely. Definitely an issue when you cross the streams. Yeah, you'll find me. Those are all fun things I like to do. I thought I had a picture of one of the hot rods I built. It's been years since I built a hot rod. It's been a minute. Thought I had one of my old trucks. I have one picture of it before it was finished. I thought I had a picture. Somewhere there's one of me. I got one of my daughter. This is how long ago. My daughter used to help me build them when I was a kid. So I liked green at the time. So I built a green monster because everyone has, the Chevy orange and things like that. I'm like, no, we're going green and black. So it's Orange Systems. So anything you talk about is on topic. That's true too. So, all right, I'm going to stop here. If not, I'm just going to babble on about cars, and I don't have a car channel. And if anyone wants to talk about cars, I don't know, DM me on Twitter. If you say I need tech support on this, I'm probably not going to reply with anything other than a forum link. But if you say let's talk about cars, you can probably find me on Twitter or something like that. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for being here. Much appreciated. All right, you guys have a wonderful. If I don't see some of you in the forums before then, I'll see all of you next week that decide to show up again. Thanks.